G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 2 of my Mortar Trap Sorcerer playthrough. Last episode we did the first half of Act 1, and today's episode, all things going according to plan, will be the end of Act 1. Now, I called this character Apocalypse, which I thought was pretty clever. You know, it's raining fire, there's lots of explosions. Apocalypse, you know, makes sense, right? But it turns out that actually if you outsource or crowdsource, in this case, your naming, you get some really good names. So there's a few I wanted to shout out. In no particular order here, we have meteorology, which is similar to the apocalypse idea, things falling from the sky, it's pretty good. Mortar combat, which, yes, Mortal Kombat reference, good. Michael Bay, which I did consider because I already have M. Night Shamanland, which was a savagery shaman I played, I think is my first series on the channel. It's horrible, don't watch it. Someone else suggested Oppenheimer, which again, yes, bombs. Lovely, lovely. We also had War Crimes Wizard, which is very simple, but also strangely amusing. I quite like that one. But the one I'm actually going to change the name to was by Hyper Nerdman, so shout out for that. He suggested that I should use OK Boomer, which is just absolutely hilarious. So I have changed it to OK Boomer. and that's the character name now. So I hope everybody else is as amused by that as I am. And let's get into the second half of Act 1. So resistance-wise, we're looking pretty good for Act 1. I would like some more of this, but we can't really use crafted components yet. A lot of them are going to be level 15, some are going to be level 20. That's fine. We'll deal with crafted components at the end of the act. You should be able to get through Act 1 with pretty much 0 resistances. Obviously the top row minus piercing, so these 4 are good to haves, but you don't really need them in Act 1. Let's have a quick look here for health regen. And what do we got here? Any gold rings of... Nope. Mighty of Mending. This is actually not bad. The plus 14 is kind of low, so I'm not going to buy this one. But 6% to one of your stats, and in this case it is our highest stat. And then some regeneration is pretty good. So this is... I want something like this before I fight the Act boss. We do have a 10 armor belt with 18, so 6% defensive ability is not something I'm interested in at all, so I'm going to keep my current one. When you're leveling up, and this is not true at level 100, so, you know, big caveat, a big star above this, defensive ability is something you can pretty much ignore while you are leveling. Campaign content, it just doesn't matter. There's no big bonuses like there is in Shattered Realm to enemy crit chance and offensive ability and all that sort of stuff. So most things in the campaign that crit you are just going to do 10% extra damage. It's not a big deal. There are, of course, exceptions, but they are few and far between. So I don't care about defensive ability during the campaign. Also, this was the Shambler's Heart that I picked up from, well, the Shambler at the end of last episode, and this is pretty much always going to be the best amulet you get in Act 1. Not always, but it is quite good. And it does come with fire damage and armor and elemental resist. So is this straight up better than the Sister's Amulet of Life-Giving? I wouldn't say it's better. 10 flat regen and 8% health is quite a nice bonus. 7% armor is not a whole lot of armor. Having said that, I am going to put it on. You could go and kill him again and get some better affixes, but yeah, I don't think it's worth it. We are going to be using preferably Renewal, but I don't think that's spawning yet. We'll check out Mending 17. This one is interesting because offensive ability is more damage. This is basically hit chance and crit chance. And then it also has some energy regenerated, which is tempting. And then this, Mystic of Serenity, this is actually quite good. If I could afford this, I wouldn't buy it. 20,000 iron bits in Act 1 is too much. But this is pretty much perfect early on. Elemental damage, percentage spirit, energy recharge. The cooldown reduction is not amazing, but then it does have time warp proc on it. Ideally, I would like damage proc, but anyway, can't have one of those. Alright, so yes, last episode we got to the Burridge Outskirts Rift, and actually I'm going to do something weird. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm actually going to do Barnabas first. So he's going to want us to fix up his windmill for him, which requires a bunch of scrap, for which he'll pay us about 20% of what we could sell it to a merchant for. And now it's spewing out this glowing green water, which is obviously not something you want to drink, so we'll have to go and bonk the slith on the head, or in this case, throw exploding bottles at them, until they decide that actually it's not a good idea to be poisoning our water supply. Also, I may swap to mortars in this episode. I haven't fully decided if I'm going to do it, and if I do, it's going to be mostly to just kind of show how not good it is. I may use it to kill Krieg, but it's not going to be a regular thing. I mean, look at that. We just nuked that entire pack with one button push. And I'm going to do it again. You want to see me do it again? There we go. That whole pack is going to die in fire, and it's going to be glorious. See? They're all dead. Zombies don't count. Yeah, Blackwater Cocktail is really, really good. When it comes to the best leveling skill for Demolitionist, it is Blackwater Cocktail. So nothing is really going to touch that until a good bit later into the game, and even then, maybe not. You need to stop throwing poisonous spikes at me, and your little friend too. Yeah, there are definitely better skills than Blackwater Cocktail to level with, but they are on other masteries. So Blackwater Cocktail's really, really good. I mean, you can just kind of see it. Drop the cocktail and just run, and everything chases you, runs through the fire. I'm getting XP. They're not even on the screen, and they're just dying like, well, I was going to say dying like flies, but they're dying like slith. And it's all good XP. Alright, now this is... I'm going to do this, but I'm also going to recommend not. And hopefully I won't have to show you why I recommend not. But give it a shot, especially if you're playing on softcore. This is free XP and loot, because if you die, you just come back and kill them. If you're playing on hardcore, though, this is potentially death. So let's just let's see how we go here. I'm going to turn the loot off so I can see what's going on. Now, I haven't got the Nightmare Spawn, which is Shamblers. But I have got some decently high damage enemies. We've got Swift, we've got Burning, which is not great. But these guys, I think, are all going to die in a fire, which is great. He is burning, so he's probably got some resistances there. There we go. This one turned out okay. I've got 3 blue items on the ground. I did just see Revolver when I moused over that, and I thought it might have been the +1 to Demolitionist Leander's hand cannon, but no, it's not, which is both good and bad, because I don't think I could use that. It's very clearly going to change everything about how this build would be played. Let's have a quick look through here. Okay, Infernal. I hate that this dropped. I really, really hate that this dropped. Infernal is perfect for what I'm doing at the moment. Alacrity, not so much. But this is fire damage. It's physical to fire conversion, which I think would help with the... Yeah, that... This is just really good. It's perfect. And the reason I hate it is because... well, now if I'm walking along and I mouse over, let's say, a jug, my character stops and shoots it. Even though I didn't want it to. So now I have to turn this off. That was the move to breaks things. And now that means I now have to hit shift in order to actually open anything that I have to attack. Or I can throw a fireball at it. Alright, so this is Viloth the Corruptor. I'm going to fight her up on her platform. And that was a Sundering attack. And Viloth is the first or second enemy that you can potentially meet who will sunder you. Now, you can just evade or dodge through her. And again, just like the Shamblish, doesn't really have any damage to follow it up with, so okay, you're taking 30% more damage, but she's not really doing a huge amount of damage in the first place. It is 30% from memory. I don't think she's going to be alive long enough. Anyway, I dodged it without even thinking. But yeah, you kind of get a bit of a gimme with the first two. After this, yeah, the next one is going to be Warden Krieg, and he will kill you. Alright, so Viloth's ring is something you want to consider keeping. This ring will always spawn with Aether resistance. Now, my plan for Act 1 does not need this. I'm going to be using Regeneration rings. But if you're playing a character that doesn't have any bonus to health regeneration from a skill, then you might want to consider keeping that ring for just a little bit of extra Aether resistance, just to make the boss fight a bit easier. Alright, let's pop this. Formidable of Spines. Formidable used to be kind of the best prefix on a lot of armor. I can't actually remember what bonus it used to give now that I'm thinking about it. It used to be really good, now it's just good. Healing effect increased by 11%. Yeah, I can't remember what it used to do, but it used to be a lot better. Ember grip handguards are definitely something that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to put that in the pile of I'm going to use this later. And then what have we got here? Pierce damage I don't care, but I also don't care about lightning and aether. We'd be swapping spirit and cunning for physique and health. And honestly, this is really much of a muchness. I will swap it because formidable is actually quite good, but otherwise, no. Yeah, I think we're good here. Also, I'm really bad at spending my devotion points. So there we go. I've got some more physique, some more spirit, some defensive ability, some aether resistance. This is another reason why I like this one early in Act 1. Aether and fire damage there, and then we get an aether and fire damage proc at the end there. So this will be before we get to Warden Creek, which is going to be really good. Okay, how's my inventory? I am going to go back to town, turn this quest in, because the reward for this quest is actually an expansion on my inventory. So you can see here this bit's empty, and now it's not. So we did get an inventory bag there and some extra reputation. Now I'm going to keep this weapon because I want that searing ember back. How much do they cost to buy? I don't think it's much. Let's just have a little bit of the old health regen. Okay, there's one with 23 health per second. Now, do I have a decent regen ring? Otherwise, no. Okay, that one's no. Yeah, I'm just going to buy that one. Now, I'm not going to put these on until later. Also, make sure you're hanging on to corpse dust, because this is giving you 24% increased health regeneration when you've got a whole bunch of flat health regen from your mastery, which is Vindictive Flame, and then you also have several items with this. You can quite quickly get your actual regeneration amount up to kind of silly numbers for Act 1. Let's just have a quick look here. Alright, this is another item that would be really, really good if it wasn't so ridiculously expensive. Harmonious at low levels, actually not quite so good. It's still good, but it's not as good. And Mending, obviously, we've got 16 there, that's fine. 14, no. And we'll just go, you know what, I'll just do a search for Mend. Warding of Mending, okay, this is pretty good actually. Most of the big scary damage coming out of Warden Krieg is actually Aether, so I'm going to grab that one. The Mending roll there, I think that's actually kind of a little bit low, but that's fine. That's 25 a second. That's a pretty good number. It's the only thing on that ring, but that is quite a cheap ring. So I'm going to grab that, and now I just need to find an amulet. And otherwise we are going to be absolutely golden, and we're just going to stand in Warden Krieg's face and kind of laugh at him. I will go through how to do it, how to do the fight if you are not going to be doing a regen focus, but I honestly think regen just trivializes the entire fight, so you're kind of silly not to. Alright, I am going to be looking for Angrim here. Is it Angrim or Angron? I can never remember. I know I say this every single time through. Hang on. Yeah, it's Angrim. So we're not looking for the Demon Prince. We are looking for the Blacksmith. And I'm going to side against him. I'm choosing to side with Duncan, because on normal difficulty, if you side with Duncan, one, you get to craft a pistol at level 15, which has fire damage bonuses and a guaranteed fireball proc, which is really annoying because I hate pistols. But it's a really good item. It's basically Francis's pistol at level 15, so you know, make number bigger and you're good to go. Right, so Angrim here. I'm here for the hammer. Duncan needs it. It's time the hammer was passed on. Side with Duncan. Now, you can take it by force and kill Angrim, but that's just rude. Alright, let's go back and talk to my good friend Duncan, and then maybe kind of halfway through level 14, I'll try and get back to town and craft one, maybe two if we get really bad rolls. One or two pistols. Now, I'm not going to be dual wielding them because I have to hold shift there. Because I'm not playing an Inquisitor and we don't have access to the Gunslinger's Talisman until after we kill Cronley. But I'm also just not going to be dual wielding them anyway. Although you could definitely make the argument for it. Alright, Burial Cave here. I'm here for the Ruined Shrine and also, obviously, all of them Aether Crystals. Because, say it with me, people, there is no such thing as enough Aether Crystals. You can't have enough. If you think you have enough, it's just because you haven't found the next reason why you need more of them yet. And you will. You will. Aether Crystals kind of grow on the ground, not really on trees, but, you know, they're very common. And I had this discussion on, I think it was on the Crate forums. A bunch of people complained that there's not enough Aether Crystals in the game, and I kind of agree, because I did just say there's no such thing as enough. But if you play through the campaign, and you hit up all the areas where they spawn when you get to them, then usually you're not going to have any issues with it. That's a really nice increase in armor. The cunning and offensive ability is also quite good. I think I'm going to swap that. Do you have movement speed? You don't, but otherwise you're kind of okay. Offhand. Alright. This is another thing to talk about. This is a Sigil of Consumption proc, which does vitality damage and drains a third of that damage as health. Which, if we were higher level, say we're level 40, and we've got a whole bunch of... let's just put this in here. We've got Elemental Storm down here on the Rowan's Crown. We've got Eldritch Fire on Soleil's Witchblade. Maybe, probably not, but maybe we've got Hand of Altos. Basically a whole bunch of resistance shredding procs. Then a vitality damage proc is no good. But at this level, we don't have any of that resistance shredding, so damage is basically just damage. Fire damage is 190. So let's just chuck this on. Vitality is up to 30, so this is doing actually 73 damage. Now, we did lose +2 to Flame Touch, so it's not quite that simple. Do I want that proc? I do want the proc, but maybe not that much. Maven's Wit is a pretty good suffix. I think this is the ones I just took off. It'll be fine. It's not going to make a big difference. As long as we have the jewelry with the regeneration on it, this act is basically easy. Alright, if you get this totem, go ahead and do it. Just be aware that you are going to get tormentors or whatever the dudes who summon a lot more dudes are. And you're going to get eyeballs who also summon more dudes. So just be aware you could potentially just get buried in tiny little things that won't stop dying. This one, however, is basically the same idea. I am going to do it. But first, do I... 8 + 2... Excuse me, I'm trying to think out loud here. That goes up to 220. People are really rude. I'm trying to figure out where to put my points. I am tempted to just finish this. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. I definitely want the chaos damage on here because we are about to run into... Actually, I should have put those in there. We are about to run into enemies that are just completely 100% immune to fire. So, we'll see. Let's turn the loot off here. I should have thrown the Blackwater cocktail before this. This guy right here is going to be summoning additional friends. That was a big wind-up attack there that I just stood there and tanked because I'm stupid. And now we're standing in goop, so I've ticked all the boxes. Explorer's trousers, these are really good. This is the Lokar's set at home. And actually, Lokar's set does not have trousers, so you can make these and get an additional 5% XP. For those people who are so inclined, there's also XP bonuses on some crafted belts and at least a couple of amulets from memory. At least one, definitely. I may end up using that as well. We'll see how we go. Pants. Okay, we're up to the 92 armor pants, which is good. These ones have spirit and aether resistance, but that's kind of where the good part ends. These don't have the armor. Where are my armor holes at the moment? Chest and boots. Yeah. Alright. Let's take physique up to 10, and then maybe we'll look at some more spirit. It used to be the case that pretty much every build... oh, hello, Steven Seagal. Pretty much every build would just take spirit and cunning to be able to wear their gear, and then dump everything else into physique, because you needed it for health and defensive ability. Usually, or generally now, I do a 50-50 split between physique and whatever my damage stat is. Alright, so we're going to get fire immunes coming out of this, which means we may be here for a little while. Let's turn the loot off so I can see what's going on. These guys right here, Rotting Ember Guard, you can see they're taking very little damage. Everything else is dead. They're still hanging out, they're chilling. Do I have fire damage on the gun? It's physical, cool. I can do some damage with the fireball then. So the damage they're taking is from this chaos damage. I should have spent those 3 extra points there in the chaos damage, but well, it is what it is, right? We're still going to be able to kill them. We're actually about to hit level 15 too, so I should go back to town and craft myself a nice new gun. Come on, Mr. Rotting Ember Guard. Please do that thing where you die. Alright, and I've only got 2 heroes this time. This is one of the early concrete differences that you're going to notice between normal and veteran. If you're doing this on normal, you're pretty much guaranteed to get 1 hero. And if you're doing it on veteran, you'll get between 1 and 3. And it tends towards the 3. But it is a tendency, it's not guaranteed. That fireball, I think, is actually doing nothing. Alright, what do we get? Mutant Bludgeon, of Insanity, and of the Abomination. Could use the... well, I can't equip it yet, but the... hang on a second, what's going on here? Abomination, I thought that was Vitality. Anyway, could use the Insanity Mutant Bludgeon for that Vitality damage bonus, and then take the Vitality damage proc. I think I'm not going to, though. Did hit level 15, which is nice, so we are going to be running into more heavily fire-resistant / immune enemies. 5% health, nah, it's not worth. And neither of these have movement speed, so I'm not interested in those. Alright, do consider keeping this if you got a good roll on the Aether Res, but I didn't. Alright, don't buy Res. I think I said that. I have to keep reminding myself. There's no mending there. Let's go ahead and chuck these. Chuck the search in here. What do we got? Physique and 20. No. No. Very unlikely that I'm going... Oh, 24 there. Amulet is the one I need. Pierce and Cold. You know what? I'll buy that. That's my regen equipment sorted. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that. Also, I've got 8 of these now, so I'm happy to just sell that. Worst case, I can just reset the merchants until they're selling them. And I think it's 2,400 iron bits from memory. Alright, let's get some free XP here. Yep, Warden Krieg is doing Warden Krieg things. And just finish eating our conversation pie here. Friendly with Devil's Crossing. Doesn't matter. Alright, so double barrel pistol. This is a recipe that only Duncan will have. If you side with Angram instead, you will not be able to make this. You will instead have a piercing short sword or sword, which is no good for us. So this one here is going to roll a guaranteed fireball, and not now, but once you get to level 20, you can roll another fireball proc. So potentially you can have 2 fireball procs on each of your dual-wielded guns, which I'm not going to do. However, I am going to craft one of these, because this fireball is higher damage than the previous one. Losing +2 to Blackwater Cocktail, you could probably argue that this is actually not as good, but searing, 20% fire, flat fire. You know what, we'll use that one. Why not? I want to dual wield? Maybe I dual wield. No, that's fine. Right. What I am actually going to do, am I going to do it now? No, let's get to Warden Creek first, and then I am going to actually, I'm going to take Mortar Trap. I'll do the Warden Creek fight with Mortar Trap, and maybe the room before him, because Mortar Trap is not good. Mortar Trap is really not good. I hope yeah, good. I hope I didn't move that, is what I was going to say. Alright. Everybody gets a fireball. Polished emeralds. You know what? I'm not going to go back for that. Alright, halfway dead on that spider. More than halfway dead on that spider. Everybody gets to burn, which is lovely. I don't think it actually dropped anything. Did it drop a chest thing? No, no chest. No loot. How rude. Alright, I've come back here for Balros and Hagra. I like XP and free stuff, so I am going to do the quest for Old Mate. I'm standing in poison there, I think. Definitely something was hurting. Now, one of these is going to be cold damage. That's the one you want to kill first. It's going to be Hagra. I can never remember which one it is. I always wait for the ice things to come out. The other one's fire. Fire is not something I'm worried about. Fire is not going to freeze me in place and let me get hit by both of these two with their big wind-up attacks, so I definitely want the cold damage one of the two dead first, and now the fire one you can just base tank. That's fine. All right, quest complete. Let's rift back up to the village, and now the question is, do we do the Doreni quest? Now lately I've been letting him live because I like being able to kill him. I think I might kill him via this quest in the town in Act 1 in normal difficulty, and then in Ultimate I'm not going to say you definitely want to side with him, or at least not kill him, but it does make grinding for Devil's Crossing reputation a little easier, and for negative Cronley's gang rep it's also a bit easier too. Do note that I am hitting pretty much every Aether Crystal that I find, because you can't have enough Aether Crystals. Generally, you'll be okay if you just get all of them while you're leveling up. But yeah, there's definitely never actually enough. Okay, Vladox. I'm sure there's a vampire joke there. Blood-sucking insect does vitality damage. Alright, Waterfront. Actually, you know what? I don't go in here very often, and there's a good reason for this. I have gone in here a few times on other characters, and it always ends in tears. And unfortunately, those tears are definitely mine. There's the ethereals killing off the beasts, which is always fun. Alright, this may actually be a mistake. Yeah, this might be a mistake. Let's do it. So you come in here and you're immediately swarmed. These are the enemies that convince me that having the interact button, you, in my case, bound to a key and there's something that I know where it is a good idea. Because this is the door, well, up here is the door, that I was trying frantically to click on while I'm being swarmed by all of these quill rats or whatever they are. And a million werewolf zombie things, whatever these are. That was the door that convinced me that it was something I needed to know about. So let's just run around and clear these guys. There is sometimes a totem here, and there is always an exalted stash. We've got Grundlepith, who's also... This is his house. He lives here. Now, I'm just going to kite. You can see I'm taking actually a good bit of damage. I don't need his MI, so when I say kite, what I mean is I'm actually just going to leave. It's not worth dying for an exalted stash. Right, let's finish that off, and we'll put the rest in there. One more level, and this will be finished. Good bit of chaos damage. Also, the reduced target's damage for 3 seconds is pretty good. Let's get some more physique here. We're up to 10. Maybe I'll put some more into spirit. Health count is actually quite low, so probably not. Alright, we made it to the docks. Let's go get the fabric. Now, these are always in the same spots. There's a set of, I think, 7 or 8 spots where they can spawn, and then it's just up to you to find them. The chests you're looking for are always weathered chests, but not all weathered chests are going to be containing them. This one here, I'm pretty sure, is not. Yeah, I didn't think so. That's fine. There are so many corruptions through here. This is crazy. Never seen this much lightning. That is terrifying. That is a whole bunch of soldiers just waiting to do a big wind-up attack and delete half my health bar. Shattering, cold damage stuff, okay. So I don't think any of that stuff is actually immune to fire. The mages or whatever are definitely not. But we do enough chaos damage now that I don't really have to worry about it anyway. Okay, Chthonian Heresy. I love free XP, so let's grab that. The locations for all of these chests are, like I said, always the same. So if you just look it up on grimtools.com/map, I think it'll show you. I'm actually not sure. If you have the quest, it'll show you. There'll be stars on the map, so you can do it that way as well. Oh dear, do I want to deal with Big Boy there? I think I do. He's dying pretty quickly. Let's get everybody to stand in the fire. Oops, I just stood in the Aether. Let's also evade straight into his Aether Nova there. Hermit's leg guards, I'm standing in goop. Yeah, don't get distracted by don't get distracted by the loot and then stand in the goop, because that's a good way to end up dead. Ask me how I know. Go on, someone do it. Right. This is a lot of armor. Or it's not a lot of armor, but it is extra armor. It is casting speed. Energy leech I don't care so much about. But spirit, casting speed, and an armor upgrade. I think this one's better. So I'm going to use that one. And we'll chuck this into the I'm going to sell you pile. In terms of the rest of the stuff, I was kind of hoping for a proc. I'm hoping for move speed, and I'm not getting it. I think I have to use it. That's, what, 3-4 times the armor value? What's my lowest armor value? Chest and still feet, actually. Alright, what do we got? We got a supporter here. Crimson Tail. There we go. Lovely. Now, this is the way I like to get in. There's always a big juicy pack up here, and I've usually got a pretty good AoE skill by this point. So I like to just blow them up like that. And we've locked out. We just get to walk in and grab the Devotion Shrine. It is a fight, Devotion Shrine. These guys are going to hurt a bit. I shouldn't just be standing there taking a beating. I should be moving around at least. I also should go and upgrade my my offhand component to get the greater fire blast. Actually, let's go do that. Let's go do that. I've got stuff to sell anyway. Um, hmm. 1 second. I am definitely going to do that, but before I do, let's go and talk to my good friend, the apprentice, who I'm blanking on the name because, 3,000 hours and God knows how many characters through Act 1 is not enough to learn the name. Dalit, there we go. So Dalit is the inventor's apprentice, and she's going to remove the component off of my Kaizog's hat, my Kaizog's head, rather. And then I'm going to put a better one on it. Okay, so, hate that bug. Alright, you're welcome, and thanks. Let's go ahead and keep the item here. So now we can get any components that we might have. So if I wanted that scavenged plating back, I can pay 1,200 iron bits to get it back. Probably not worth it for that. But, yeah, maybe. Okay. Let's go ahead and keep going with physique. Now, the general rule of thumb for hardcore is put 2 zeros after your level, so 1,700. And that is kind of the minimum amount of health you should have. And I'm under that, so I want to get more. The easiest way to get more is to put points in the bar, but I want more damage. I need the health. I should be doing what I should be doing and not what I want to be doing. Do I need... 1, 2, 3. I still need a belt, don't I? Mending belt with some good armor. What do we got here? 25 and 2 resistances. Okay, that one is probably good enough. 16 armor as well. Yep, I'll take that one. No problem. You know what? I've got 10. That'll do. So, hang on, where are we? I've only got 1 corpse dust. That's not ideal. Do you sell corpse dust? I don't think they do. Having said that, I've never considered buying one, ever. In my 3,000 hours of playing Grim Dawn, I don't think I've ever gone to buy one. That's alright. We'll get more. I do want corpse dust for rings and amulets. So, does it do... It does metals as well. Okay. Alright, this just became ridiculously easy. If I can get 3 more of these... Oh, dude. That's nuts. Alright, mentioned you by name. Your schemes are finished. Your life is forfeit. Die, traitor. Okay, I don't have... This was a mistake. I've made a terrible mistake. I deleted my searing ember and now I don't have the fireball. That's fine. Alright, let me get the name right here. It is Flint Core Bolts. This is going to give me the Greater Fire Blast, which is basically the same thing, but numbers are bigger. More flat fire damage, more burn damage, chance to stun, and then more weapon damage. The issue is it's going to be a ton of energy, but it's also really good. The other one I want is an enchanted flint, but I can't use that until level 20, which I always forget, and I craft it, and then it sits in my inventory and drives me nuts. But I do now have the Greater Fire Blast. Also, this looks really cool. Check that out. Much bigger blast. You might even say it was greater. I'm sorry, that was horrible. Forget I said that. Right. I don't think you can craft... no, you can't. What are they called? Corpse dust. Yeah, you can't craft corpse dust, which is unfortunate, because I would absolutely craft them right now. Let's go ahead and chuck these in there. I'll keep 6 of these. Do I have this yet? I haven't turned in the slith quest. Oh my god, what is going on? I'm losing it. I'm completely losing it. It's one of the best rings for leveling there is. Okay, so this is why I killed Doreni. Blood of Chthon, Devil's Crossing reputation, bunch of iron. Mostly for the Blood of Chthon, which is probably silly because I don't really use it during leveling. The reason I was keeping this thing, the Blood of Chthon, or no. The reason I was keeping the scrap there we go, is for this. The bridge repair, 6 scrap, 3,000 iron bits. When I'm finished killing Krieg, I'm going to craft a whole bunch of components and things. It's going to use a lot of scrap, and I don't want to be stuck in the situation where I have no iron bits and no scrap, so I can't repair the bridge. Then I'd have to run out through the town and click on rocks until I find it. So I want to avoid that if I can. Yeah, let's get the Warden's basement, Riftgate, and then we will go and turn in the Slith quest. Or, alternatively, I'll have forgotten about it by then, and I won't bother. I'm tempted by this. The energy regeneration, the flat energy regeneration, is going to be really useful. Alright, so Greater Fire Blast. Let's have a look. Looks just like the old one, except numbers are bigger, booms are bigger. Lovely. Okay, more scrap is good. I am trying to get the lore notes here because it's free XP. And I like free anything really, but XP especially. Alright, we'll blow the door down with the biggest fireball this act has ever seen. Probably. And fortunately, I haven't forgotten. I have not forgotten. Let's go get that ring, and we will swap this in after we've killed Krieg. You know what? We'll swap that in right now. This is really tempting, actually. No. Alright, so we're back way at the start of the game in the White Mire, and the reason for it is just up here. This is another merchant, so if you're still looking for, I don't know, a belt with regeneration on it, you can talk to him. But otherwise, Slith Primal Ring. There's a couple of reasons why this is really good. Flat energy regeneration as well as percentage is really useful while you're leveling. A lot of really good leveling skills burn through your energy bar very, very quickly. So having a ring that gives you more of this, good stuff. 3 different resistances, one of which is elemental, which is also 3 different resistances. So this is basically 5 resistances with 12% each. That's really good. 60% on a level 0 ring is really, really good. And then 10% damage to beastkin. That's really good as well, because a lot of things are beastkin that you wouldn't think of, and beasts are pretty much everywhere, so good bonus to have. Vigorous of Mending. I'm already wearing that, aren't I? Yeah. Okay, if I didn't already have a 25 health regen belt, I would absolutely swap. I would buy this. 10% health is huge, especially for someone who's just been done whinging that he doesn't have enough. This one is also good. It's apparently they're having a sale on regeneration belts. That's alright. If they could have a sale on corpse dust, that would be really good. Alright, so into the Warden cellar. This is, what, the 4th or 5th last zone or last area in Act 1. And you could argue that it's the 2nd last area. Alright, my health is a little bit low, which I don't love. And we do have 2 hero spiders here, which I really don't love. What do we got? A leaper? I think that's fine. Yeah, have some more fire. Longsword of the Abomination. Kind of don't care. Molten Enemy I don't love as well. I am going to click on a few of these things because I don't think you get... I wasn't going to say it. I don't... I don't think you get corpse dust out of webs, but I'm going to check anyway. Turns out I'm wrong. You can. Enchanters is actually pretty good as well. That Elemental Seal is really, really good as far as damage procs go. One of my favorites, I would say. Alright, another thing to point out at this point is there is an ancient Aetherwarped totem in this area. I'm probably going to run into it, and I probably shouldn't. I definitely shouldn't try and do it. I probably won't try and do it. I do think this character actually would be able to do it. He would just throw fire and run out of the room. But you don't really want to mess with this particular totem. As far as kill count against players go, this totem has probably got the largest number. There are definitely things that I consider more dangerous. Nemesis monsters, well, some of the Nemesis monsters would be up there. Probably Gravathul has got a pretty good kill count as well. But I think this has actually got the bigger number because you're pretty much done with the game by the time he can even spawn. Whereas this is in one of the areas in Act 1. It's very dangerous. Let's get the mortars online. So this is the mortar. And as you can see, summon it on the floor. Takes a second to target. And then it takes another second for the booms to start raining. The damage is kind of okay. Considering this is a 1-point skill at the moment, it's killing veteran enemies. Veteran enemies with fire resistance as well, in like 3 hits. So it's not horrible. The issue is that it's... well, let's just swap it in. You know what? We'll do that. I am almost certainly going to unswap this in. Straight away after Krieg. Impervious of soul warding, that's actually not horrible. That is a good bit of health. Nice armor increase. No. 20 health and some pet stuff. Okay, that's fine. Alright, this is not something I recommend doing. I recommend not changing your skill points like I'm about to. It's not a good idea, don't do it. I'm going to turn that in though, because then we get a level 20 armor, which is really nice. Okay, to be clear, don't do this. I'm just doing it to show you what a maxed out mortar trap would look like. So this is 16 of 16. You'll notice that I still only get 1. I don't have the +1 skill to get this up to 17, which is what's required to get a second one. And then 23 will get you a third one. And there is a single monster infrequent that we're not going to have for a very long time, Turnox's Tome, which will get you an additional 1. So we could have, or we will eventually have 4 of these. But for now, we just have 1. So I'm keeping my Fireball, which is basically same. And I am keeping the Blackwater Cocktail, but it's going to be doing a lot less damage. These guys still not dying in 1 hit is somewhat disappointing. Let's go ahead and chuck this down, oh I don't know, here. And then it can hit these guys as well. Now it does do a little bit of AoE damage. From memory, it's not a huge amount, but once we take the big one, we'll be doing more, I think it's single target damage. I did look all this stuff up. I'm just not good at remembering things. Alright, let's take these guys out. The guys who were resistant or immune to fire are definitely not immune to physical damage, and these mortars actually do a good bit of physical damage as well. Lodestone. Also, I'm going to have an extra piece of this just sitting there, or an extra point, because I could have had this for a while now. Let's chuck it on Blackwater Cocktail. And what are we getting after this? So I want to get Rowan's Crown. This is giving me blue and green. So I need 3 green and 4 purple. So it's going to be 1 point purple here, and then the quill. And then we'll take that. Alright, so you're going to start seeing green fire on the ground now. It's going to look exactly like these guys. See it starting to proc in there. And that is going to be another really good source of damage, especially once it's started to level up. But it is quite good damage. Somehow still burning through all of my energy as well, which I don't love. Okay, once again, you can never have enough Aether Crystals, so you definitely want to get all of the ones that are available. I'm going to leave that item on the floor. I shouldn't. I should go and pick that up because, once again, there is no such thing as enough Aether Crystals. These guys would have been dead with that one cast if I had still got maxed out Blackwater Cocktail, or not maxed out, but high points, I guess we'll call it. Yeah, I'm taking a good bit extra damage as well because I'm running around dodging things instead of them just all being dead because they're on fire. I'm taking a lot more damage. Alright, let's try a totem here. This is only Forsaken. It's not a walkover like a regular one would be, but let's go ahead and have a look here. Turn the loot off so I can see what's going on. And we'll spam some fireballs at them. Mr. Reflective there, I don't love that. I really don't love that I nearly died there. One of the good things about this being a pet is that it can kill reflective enemies, and I don't take damage. The damage gets reflected onto the pet, which is invincible, so it doesn't matter. War Chief's Glory, I think that was one of the items with... Nope, it wasn't. There's an amulet with +1 to Soldier and +1 to Demolitionist, and I think it's something similar to that. Okay, Guardsman Spaulders, really, really good shoulders. We don't have a shield, so we can't use that circuit breaker that's built into it. But the reason this is really good is the elemental resist and the massive pile of armor. So I am going to put that on. Obsidian Seal is also actually not bad. Health and elemental resistances are pretty good. The rest of this, I think, I'm probably okay without any of that. I'm going to go Physique. I am tempted to just dump a whole bunch of points into this, or maybe even chuck Arcanist in. Maven Sphere is a good ways off, and Arcanist doesn't give much in the way of health, though. Yeah, we'll have to. We'll see. Okay, new chest piece. This one has energy regenerated per second, has good armor, offensive ability, 2 resistances, including Aether. So that one gets the nod. This one is, wow, that's even more armor. I think I have to. That much armor is really, really good. I'll hang on to this though. No, I won't. By the time I get to Krieg, I'll be able to wear this one. That's fine. And I think I'm only 1 corpse dust short. All right. Let's do the push. The final push to get to Krieg. You can definitely see how not great the AoE clear is now, though. Blackwater Cocktail, all this stuff would just be dead. Alright, I'm taking a lot of damage, actually. Yeah, I do want that scrap. Give me more energy! Okay, I've got all of the Aether Crystals. That's the important part. You know what? This is not good. And you can see why I say that you shouldn't level with Mortar Trap. Once we've got 2 of them, maybe. But for now, it's a definite no from me. Let's go and swap back to Blackwater Cocktail. More physique, please. I need the health. Demolitionist, let's rip. What are we doing? Are we doing all of those? I need 7, I need 11, so I need 18. That's interesting. Okay, no, that's fine. Oh, I wasn't actually supposed to take those points out. I was supposed to put them in. Alright, that's fine. So, next mission. I kind of want to take this out and put these 6 points. Actually, I'm going to do that. There we go. So every point in here gets you 10 flat health regeneration. So we're up to... That is quite unfortunate. Alright, well, when this happens, you get yourself a polished emerald, and you put it on your helmet, and there you go. You can use your gun again. Do I have cunning from any of these other pieces right now? I don't. That's good. Rings, amulets, and medals. Let's just go ahead and spend these now. So corpse dust on your rings, corpse dust on your amulet, corpse dust on your why aren't I using that medal already? I'm one short. That's fine. There we go. So I don't even have all of the regen stuff on. I'm already up to 150 a second. If I swap these in, we're sitting at 325 a second. So 5 seconds, I go from dead to full. This is actually still not enough to make me invincible. I'll show you what I mean. How's my armor looking as well, actually? Arms and legs. I might just maybe have a look and see if I can buy some. Movement speed and health and better armor. Sold. And then gloves. I've got blue gloves. So the reason blue items are not usually any good is that they have one low-rolled elemental resist, or they have and no life, or they have no life and also no resistances. So let's see what we've got available. That is really tempting. Physique and attack swing. You know what? For 2,000 iron bits, I'll take it. And you can keep that. Have we got any good shoulders, actually? No. It's fine. Regen belts for days, though. Alright, so regeneration, we're up to 325 a second. Could actually take a couple points over here instead and just pick up even more regeneration, but this is honestly overkill already. Alright, so we have armed ourselves with the blackest of Blackwater cocktails, the biggest of booms, only the biggest of booms for OK Boomer. And watch the health bar. I'm going to take some damage here. Just watch how fast it regenerates. See, it's not enough to be invincible, but as long as I'm running around and dodging a good chunk of the damage, I shouldn't die. Obviously, you're never immune to one-shots. All the circuit breakers in the world won't save you from a one-shot. And infinity regeneration won't save you from a one-shot, but there shouldn't be anything that can really just one-shot the character. Alright, let's sneak around here. There is some stuff kind of... I mean, hidden's not the right word, but located, I guess, off to the side. I'm gonna avoid those. I am pushing it on time already, and I've still got to go through the Warden Creek fight. So let's go back for the scrap. But yeah, let's maybe push through this a little bit quicker. Also, I'm level 19, which is massive. I don't have a running tally, but when I'm playing this and I'm not waffling and killing a whole bunch of extra stuff, generally speaking, I'll be killing Krieg at level 17. So, multiple extra levels here. Spellwoven threads already? That is nuts. Alright, so mortars at the moment probably would be... Am I going to say they would be better for Krieg? I think I am, actually. For the actual Krieg fight itself, mortars will be just fine, if not better, because they are pretty good single target damage. The issue, of course, being that single target damage is not going to clean this room out. I realize I kind of did it backwards. I did say I was going to do mortars for this room and for Krieg. But I think I kind of showed that, that the mortars are not good for leveling. I think you've already... I've either made that point or you're not convinced anyway. So that's fine. Alright, I'm out of energy completely. Energy potion is on cooldown. So now we get to run around for a little bit. Still actually decently below the quote-unquote minimum for hardcore for health. Night Hunter's chest guard is a good bit of armor from memory. So close to level 20. Actually, less armor than the rare I'm already using. Okay, that's cool. Right, I don't have another corpse dust for my amulet, and I think it's fine. 200 is what I normally say is required. This is really good, actually. Had it in my head that this had energy regeneration. I do have an ectoplasm, which I think I'm going to put on this amulet. Ectoplasm's probably not something you're going to have, but it does give you energy regeneration and max energy, so if you're short on energy, that'd be one way to get it. Alright, let's go say hi to Krieg. And his first form, the only thing you have to worry about, really, is don't stand on his traps. So, let me just kind of run around for a bit, and see that sunder? See that trap? If I go and... Oops, I stepped in your trap. He didn't sunder me. I should have been sundered there. So, yeah, that wave is going to do a good bit of damage. Wasn't I going to swap some gear in? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Alright, let's just blow through his first phase here. You'll notice that my health is going down a little bit, but I'm regenerating fast enough that, that I'm not really taking any damage. So I'm going to do the same thing in his second phase. I'll run around a bit. And I do want to make this point here that if you're ever worried about fighting Warden Krieg, you can quite literally run around in circles and he will do 0 damage to you. Alright, let's get out of the goop. So he has a very, very easily spottable pattern, right? Points at you, charge, swing, and now he'll do the stomp. Boom, 8th of damage in a ring. I wasn't supposed to get hit by that. But now he'll do 2 ranged attacks, charge, stomp, and now a couple of ranged attacks. So that wave is decently annoying, stuns and slows you. Those, that crossbow spray, that's what's actually going to kill you. That and the stomp are most of his damage. But if you just run, I think perpendicular is the right word, but if you run sideways to him, round him in a circle, he actually can't hurt you. The further away you are, the more sort of guaranteed not able to hurt you he is. But he's in the middle of the room, basically, so he can't hurt me. Alright. Let's dodge past that. Let's get into melee range. Melee range is unironically the safest place to be with him. Stomp doesn't quite take me down to half, and I'm already healed up to full before he does his next attack. So we are really, really in good position here. As long as you're in melee range, if you have 200 health regeneration, then if you get down low, you'll regenerate up. And if you feel like you're in trouble, you've got a healing potion available. So you can just laugh at him, especially if you've got more Aether damage. The big hits, it's that Aether Stomp, which is, I mean, physical and Aether, but a big chunk of it is Aether. So if you just resist the biggest part of the damage, and then regenerate enough that he can't really do much about it, then Warden Krieg is quite easy. So if you've beat the fight a million times and you know it, and you know exactly how to fight it, then yeah, it's easy. Alright, what are we looking at here? Aether stuff, so no. Preserving a ruin, maybe. The Warden's Fortress here, the shield, does come with physical resistance. And if you happen to get a durable prefix, I would say wear this. You will lose the greater fireball, unless you have a gun. But yeah, if you've got a shield with more than about 15% physical resistance, I would say use it and just deal with the less damage. All right, Warden's Chest here. Will drop you a tainted brain matter every single time, so make sure to pick that up. That is going to be one of the things we are crafting. Don't forget to blow that up. You can get free XP out of it. And that's pretty much it. So, we are pushing over... Well, we're over an hour now, so I might do the crafting at the beginning of the next episode. But we're going to do a full round of components for all this stuff. I don't need the regeneration gear so much anymore. But I do need to get some piercing resistance. So... definitely keep your eye out for some gear like this one. which has piercing resist. The 9% is kind of whatever, 6% there. I really want a bigger number than that. Ideally, I would like a belt with maybe impervious as a prefix. Don't think I'm going to get that, but let's just have a quick look here. Pierce resist, there's 8%, there's 13. None of these are particularly amazing. That ring I am tempted by. If it had health, it would be amazing. What do we got here? That's piercing damage. We're not interested in damage. Just have a quick look over here. So Act 2, especially the start, you're going to get shot a lot, and for some reason, bullets do piercing damage, and also archers do piercing damage. So Act 2 has a lot of range damage. You want to... if only that was health. This is not a bad amulet. It is expensive, and I do need those iron bits, so I'm not going to buy it now, but yeah, keep an eye out for piercing resistance at this point. We are going to craft a couple of components that will make the piercing resistance problem less of a problem. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. I'm going to spend my extra points here. I think I'm going to take those 7 points out of there and put them in the bar again. Maybe take mortar traps again. One thing to note as well is every time you respec skill points here, they cost more. So don't do this too much or you'll end up maxing out the cost and then you'll run out of iron bits and you won't be able to change anything.
Stay strong.
Devotions should be fine. So, do I want anything here? I probably do want to get mortar traps. The damage on these is not amazing without the rest of it though, so maybe I just get more skill points. Thermite mine's probably where I stop until, wow, the big one is good. Agonizing Flames is also quite good. So, yeah, no, I take it all back. We're going all the way to 50. Anyway, that's a problem for the next episode, so I'm going to end the episode here. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.